In this video, I will be crafting the story for a Batman Beyond Post-Arkham Knight story. I'm going to try to fit in the Nemesis System into it as well. I put out a few videos in the past about potential untouched Arkham story concepts. A number of you expressed how great it would be to have Terry in the Arkhamverse. That's what I will be doing today. Subscribe if you are new here. Thanks. Batman Beyond is one of my favorite interpretations of Batman. The story features an older Bruce Wayne, who after being forced to pick up a gun to defend himself, retires from crime fighting forever. Years go by and soon a teenager on the run from the Jokers stumbles into Wayne Manor and later the Batcave. Meanwhile, there's this corrupt CEO Derek Powers who ends up having Terry's dad killed due to some shady business. And Terry, after realizing Bruce Wayne won't help him, steals the Batman Beyond batsuit so he can do something about it himself. Bruce later on decides they can be a good team with him as the brains and Terry as the field operator, and throughout the series, Terry grows into a version of Batman worthy of the name. I'll be doing my best to bring this story to life in a way that a game would feel. I want this version to take place after Arkham Knight, so hear me out. 10 years have passed since the Nightfall Protocol. Everyone knows Bruce Wayne was Batman. Everyone watched him get unmasked, and everyone watched Wayne Manor explode. Bruce Wayne is officially dead. Batman is officially gone. But Gotham doesn't believe that. You see, criminals still whisper about something in the dark. This is the Gotham after Arkham Knight. This version of Gotham isn't broken but rather controlled. Of course, crime is lower, streets are cleaner, the city looks like it healed. But that's just the first lie, because rather than crime being stopped for good, the criminals decided to adapt. I took inspiration from the Batman Beyond villains, such as the Jokers. The Jokers in Batman Beyond are a notorious street gang in Neo-Gotham, descendants of the original Joker's chaotic legacy, who adopt his clownish look and criminal ways but lack his style, terrorizing the city with petty crime and organized villainy, with key figures like J-Man, Bonk, and later leaders like Terminal, all serving as recurring threats to the new Batman, Terry McGinnis. Even with the Nightmare version of Batman, it's possible to see characters like this rising up. Then we have the Didi twins, who canonically are the twin granddaughters of Harley Quinn, but since this game is going to take place just 10 years after Arkham Knight, I hope you don't mind me changing that bit to have the Didi twins be Harley's adopted daughters, who she decided to take in after Joker died as a way of moving on. Although Harley Quinn had tried to raise them for a normal life after leaving the Joker, the twins inherited her fascination for chaos and crime. I also wanted to add in the Royal Flush Gang, specifically the Walker family from Batman Beyond. The Walker family is just one iteration. The Royal Flush Gang is a mantle passed down through generations, with new members joining as old ones are caught or retire, the tradition Bruce Wayne's original Batman dealt with. And finally, we will have Derek Powers. For anyone who didn't know, Derek Powers is the corrupt industrialist and main villain in Batman Beyond who takes over Wayne Enterprises, creates deadly nerve gas, murders Terry McGinnis' father to cover his tracks, and is then transformed into the radioactive skeletal supervillain known as Blight after being exposed to his own gas and then treated with radiation. Fearful as Blight, he becomes a monstrous glowing entity, serving as the primary antagonist for the first season and the archenemy of Terry McGinnis. But what of Bruce Wayne? Since this is only going to be 10 years after Arkham Knight, Bruce Wayne didn't retire, he disappeared. After Arkham Knight, Bruce realized something terrifying. The city knew who he was. Every ally was exposed, every weakness mapped, every relationship weaponized. So Bruce erased himself. Wayne Enterprises moved on without him. Lucius Fox kept the lights on, but the company lost its soul and got taken over by Derek Powers. Barbara Gordon stayed in the shadows as Oracle. Dick Grayson stayed in Bloodhaven. Tim Drake stepped away from the cowl. Determined, Jason Todd kept fighting in his own way. Alfred stayed, although he's getting older by the day, having to rely on Bruce to take care of him at times, and they went underground. Bruce refined the fear toxin into his own weapon and uses that to terrorize the remaining criminal elements of Gotham. That will be how my timeline fits into the future Arkham setting, while doing my best to respect the source material. It makes sense for Batman to use fear toxin on criminals, since he always intended on being a worse mythical version of himself, as per the ending of Arkham Knight. Before we continue, while you process that information, I want you to know that Batman Beyond is full of cool details, like how Terry McGinnis becomes Batman thanks to Bruce Wayne's tech. But the biggest twist is that Terry is Bruce Wayne's biological son, created via DNA rewriting by Amanda Waller to be a successor. Another fun fact is that the idea for Ace the Dog came from Batman the Animated Series. There was no way that Krypto the Superdog was going to exist for Superman and that Batman would be left without a badass dog of his own. The idea of Ace had actually been proposed during the time of Batman the Animated Series. Sean Derrick, who was one of the story editors at the time, had pitched the idea to Bruce Timm about giving Batman a dog. It wasn't really implemented then, but the idea had definitely lingered in Timm's head, so he decided to turn that into reality with Batman Beyond. Since Alfred wasn't around anymore, Bruce needed to have some sort of company at the Wayne Manor, and this turned out to be Ace the dog. One last fun fact before I pitch you the actual story. Last one, I promise. You may know about the Batman Beyond movie called Return of the Joker. I want you to know that a second Batman Beyond animated movie almost happened. The plot was said to revolve around former Catwoman Selina Kyle, who was said to have retired from her life of crime and was now the CEO of a large company. There she ends up figuring out how to clone humans and ends up creating multiple clones of Bruce Wayne. This prompts Terry to take action, where he finds out that there is a clone of him as well. The only reason why WB never really went ahead with this idea was that supposedly the plot was even darker than that of Return of the Joker. That's it for the fun facts. And now for my actual story pitch. Terry McGinnis here will just be a kid trying to survive Neo-Gotham. Maybe you can have some playable sections as him in the start, but not like the Mary Jane missions in Insomniac Spider-Man. Terry's dad, Warren McGinnis, works security for Wayne Powers. He knows something's wrong. He just can't prove it yet, and maybe he found something he shouldn't have. This can be a cutscene. One night, Terry and his girlfriend Chelsea get jumped by the Jokers. The DD twins circle them. Phone's out, laughing, and then the air changes and lights flicker. Smoke rolls in. The Jokers panic before Terry does as Batman appears, but not the Batman Terry expected. This Batman is way more terrifying. He moves too fast. Fear toxin fills the alley. The Jokers break. Some scream, some freeze. Terry watches in horror. Batman turns toward him, and for just a second, hesitates. He seems to be in pain, a man who hasn't slept in years, but then he disappears back into the shadows. That can be the first introduction. But Terry's story doesn't really start until the death that changes everything. Warren McGinnis, his dad, plans to expose Wayne Powers' corrupt business activities. Derek Powers orders his silence, makes sure it looks like an accident. Warren dies, and Terry finds out and is very upset. Mind you, in this moment, everyone knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, but Terry manages to track him down. That could be an interesting playable section, and when you find Bruce Wayne, Bruce refuses to help because he doesn't care about anything to do with his old company anymore. So Terry does what Bruce once did. He takes matters into his own hands. This is where the game really starts. Early gameplay has you playing as Terry with no suit, running, hiding, learning Gotham. You're not Batman yet. You break into Wayne Powers' facilities, you sneak, hack, and climb, until one night you cross paths with Batman, and Terry doesn't see a hero, he sees someone broken, and that rivalry makes them challenge each other, with Terry feeling like Bruce has forgotten what it means to be Batman. That can be the core of the story, and an interesting way to have you play as the two before and after Terry gets the Batman Beyond suit. And of course, since Bruce isn't getting any younger, as much as only 10 years have passed, he starts to see Terry as someone worthy of picking up the mantle, and even someday becoming a better Batman once he retires. Wouldn't that be a cool way to fit Batman Beyond into the mainline Arkhamverse? Let me know what you think down in the comments. In the meantime, let's talk more about a bit of the gameplay. I'll start with the Nemesis System. The Nemesis System changes everything, be it with you as Bruce and Terry because you play as both. Every criminal you fight remembers you. Jokers who survive encounters evolve. They mock Batman's fear tactics. They adapt. Some become immune to fear toxin when they start coming back with specialized masks. Disgusted, some crazy ones, like the DD twins, crave it. Some idolize Batman after getting beaten up. Villains like Ink become untouchable. Quick info dump. Ink is a dangerous, liquid-like shapeshifter from Batman Beyond, whose body is made of an inky, malleable substance, allowing her to morph into any shape or weapon, or even liquefy to slip through cracks, making her one of Terry McGinnis's most formidable foes. She often works as a mercenary or corporate saboteur, and the Nemesis System would work well for her. Also, low-level thugs can rise into full villains if you fail to stop them, and here's the twist. Bruce's Batman creates stronger enemies, Terry's Batman creates better outcomes. It's up to you to decide who you want to play more as. The Nemesis System isn't just about enemies, it's about legacy. Mid-game, once you get the Batman Beyond suit, you can switch between Bruce and Terry. Similar to how you play as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man 2. Bruce is slower but stronger and terrifying because that's the Arkham Batman we're used to, and he's even deadlier now. And Terry is faster and smarter, his suit is more futuristic and feels more human compared to Bruce, who has been losing himself. Bruce relies on fear, Terry relies on resilience, and Gotham reacts differently to both. Criminals fear Bruce, civilians fear what Bruce has become. They start to believe Batman is a monster. At some point through the game, Bruce may realize that fear saved Gotham, but it broke him. But through watching Terry, he may also realize that all is not lost. There's still hope for a better Gotham, a better Batman. Regretful, Bruce finally admits it. The fear toxin, the failures that haunt him, the cost is too great, and then he does something Arkham Bruce has never done it. He stops, not forever, but enough. He officially hands over a better suit to Terry and lets him be the new Batman, and decides to watch from the sidelines. This, ladies and gents, is how I would do my Arkham Beyond Bruce and Terry dynamic. I'd love to get your thoughts on whether it's a hit or miss for you. In the final act, you play fully as Batman Beyond. No fear toxin, no intimidation, just speed, precision, choice as your confrontation with Blight reaches its peak. I've been holding off on this part, but in an Arkhamverse style Batman Beyond game, a confrontation between Terry McGinnis and Blight would obviously be the final showdown. Before that, however, we can have Phase 1 be corporate espionage and Predator gameplay. Before a direct physical confrontation, I'd like the game to involve Terry infiltrating Wayne Powers' HQ. Terry would utilize the Beyond suit's advanced stealth, such as active camouflage and enhanced hearing, to bypass security and gather evidence linking Powers to his father's murder. These would be playable sections, and for the reveal, similar to the show, the confrontation might begin with Derek Powers in human form, using a synthetic skin suit to hide his radioactive state. Fun fact, Terry's suit is the most advanced Batsuit to date. The Beyond suit inherited by Terry was the last suit that Bruce Wayne had made and wore at the end of his crime-fighting days. Turns out this was also one of the most advanced suits that Bruce had ever created. Earlier renditions of the Batsuit involved gadgets and armor, but nothing more than that. A jet wing was incorporated into the suit so that Terry could fly in the true essence of a bat and chase down criminals with relative ease. Not only this, but the suit also gave Terry superhuman strength and the ability to even tank bullets and tank shells. Other cool features include a cloaking device because why not, and batarangs of all shapes and sizes. Back to the Blight boss fight. As Terry pushes him, either through combat or by exposing his crimes, Powers' anger would cause his radiation levels to spike, melting the skin away and revealing the glowing, skeletal Blight. Once the fight begins, Blight would function as a walking nuclear hazard, making traditional Arkham melee combat extremely dangerous. Here we can have features such as the Burning Touch, which are melee attacks that could cause passive chip damage to Terry's suit due to Blight's extreme heat and radiation. We can also have ranged attacks where Blight can project radiation as energy balls, beams, or wide-range waves. You, the player, would need to use Terry's enhanced mobility such as thruster-assisted dodges and boot rockets to navigate the arena. Blight could also irradiate parts of the environment, turning steel structures, or even Terry's own gadgets like a bat rope against him by charging them with nuclear energy. It's a lot to handle, I know, but it can be an interesting callback to where Bruce Wayne in comms can actually be in your ear, giving you tips since he's faced a similar boss fight before, the Mr. Freeze boss fight from Arkham City. If you would allow me to talk about it for a bit. The Mr. Freeze boss fight's core mechanic is that you cannot use the same attack method twice. After you damage him once with a specific tactic, for example, a silent takedown, he adapts his suit or the environment to counter that method for the rest of the battle. The developers designed the fight to be a true test of Batman's detective and predator skills. There are approximately 12 different ways to harm Mr. Freeze, and the number of times you need to hit him depends on the difficulty level, that is 5 times on normal and 9 on New Game Plus. The Arkham boss design philosophy, particularly the Mr. Freeze fight from Arkham City, suggests that Terry would need to adapt his tactics. Terry might use a specialized gadget like a pinch cell to temporarily drain Blight's radiation, creating a window for physical strikes. You would have to monitor Terry's suit integrity. High-level radiation can damage the high-tech suit despite its durability, and for the finishing move, the fight could culminate in a high-stakes environment such as a sinking nuclear submarine or a collapsing laboratory, where Terry must use his rockets to escape while Blight experiences a meltdown due to his own unstable energy. What do you think about that? Pretty cool, right? And so, in the end, Terry swings across the city. People look up again, not in fear, in hope. Bruce watches from the shadows right next to Alfred and Ace the dog, and for the first time in years, he can rest, because for once it feels like he's found a true successor. someone worthy of being a better Batman than he was, and that's my Batman Beyond game, a true Arkham sequel, a true Beyond origin, and a Nemesis system that actually means something. If you liked this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. I make videos and the best way to see them is of course a subscription, so click subscribe. This channel is about a year old now, and I need to say a massive public thank you to every single one of you who watches, comments, or lurks. You've made this journey incredible, and I want to give a special specific shout out to Natalia. You were my first channel supporter even before I qualified for channel memberships. But seriously, I love all you guys. Channel memberships are open with tiers. As much as I still have a full-time job, I try to come here and make things for you. It would mean the world to me if you joined and encouraged me to make more content for you. I'm Tony, and it was a pleasure.